Let's talk about, real monsters. If you haven't heard of this show, you were either living under a rock in the 90s or you didn't have Nickelodeon when you were a kid. By the way, did you know that Nickelodeon is made from the words nickel, as in 5 cents, and Odeon, which is a Greek word for musical performances? Certain cinemas became known as Nickelodeons because their tickets only cost 5 cents, and so the TV channel named their company after this. Isn't that interesting? No. Anyway, this show was great, but it was sort of like Ren and Stimpy if the creators were on slightly more acid, or a Beatles music video if you were on slightly less acid. It's the Goldilocks perfect bowl of porridge in terms of acid to animation ratio. Although it received mostly positive reviews, Parenting magazine weren't so happy about it, describing the show as graphic and scatological. Sounds to me like a shite hip-hop duo from Kent. This didn't do too much harm to its reputation on the whole though, and people, mostly kids, were fans of the show. What it is though is fucking insanely creepy. So you've got 3 main characters here: Ickis, Oblina and Crumb. 3 monsters who go to monster school to learn how to freak out humans, which they do in a number of insane ways. Ickis, for example, is a loomer, which means he can loom. Please stop me if I'm going too fast for you. Looming is the act of growing absolutely fucking massive really quickly, which I tend to do myself, normally around Christmas and between New Year. He also gets red eyes and sharp teeth, and though it doesn't sound too gross, what's really creepy is how his body gets all lumpy like a poorly executed taxidermy, and he just ends up looking like an enormous tumour, which is probably enough to give Freddy Krueger nightmares. Even when he's small, he's pretty weird. Remember the 1997 classic Hercules by Disney? Well, he looks a bit like Panic from Pain and Panic if he was the colour of Pain from Pain and Panic. Stay with me. That, or Hey Arnold in a purple morph suit. Either or. Then there's Crumb. He's a hairy little bastard with eyes that are disconnected from his body, which he holds in his hands. But don't worry, if he needs both of his hands, he just keeps his eyes in his mouth. What if you sneeze, you fucking maniac? He's always just losing them because presumably he's just a fucking idiot. He tends to scare people by generally just existing near them and using his disgusting armpit smells to make them gag. And I've got to say, I was very happy to finally see someone who reminded me of myself represented on the screen here. His energy is generally nightmarish, but the scariest part is how knackered his arms must be from just constantly holding them up. Whilst he's not in the best shape in the world, he's got fucking triceps like a kangaroo. If you want to guarantee yourself some nightmares though, I would suggest watching the episode where he gets a pimple on his head, which is so gross and big that it actually comes alive and starts talking to him. The thing grew a mouth and vocal cords. And yes, this was 11 years before Family Guy did the same gag with Chris. Next up is possibly the most frightening of all, and her name is Oblina. She's a prodigy when it comes to scaring people. She's not the most viscerally terrifying one of the main 3, but there's something disturbing about her whole vibe. She's just this upside down zebra crossing candy cane with eyes on stalks and a mouth that makes no biological sense whatsoever, because where do the sides of your mouth go? Like, it's too wide for the frame, and I don't even know why I'm trying to make sense of this. But anyway, she's horrific. Her main scare tactic is to open her impossible mouth and yank out her internal organs from it to show them to whatever person she's trying to traumatise at the time. She's considered by the head teacher to be the best student. The head teacher, of course, being the Grumble, gives off this Mr. Oogie Boogie energy. You remember him, right? The sentient sack of flies from Nightmare Before Christmas? Hideous. Anyway, the Grumble is pretty off-putting himself. The whole monster community has a bunch of disgusting attributes that will keep you in solid nightmares for a calendar month per episode. They've got this whole Addams Family thing going on, you know, where they love bad shit. You can call a woman ugly and they're all charmed by it. The Addams Family have somehow managed to stretch that one joke out for 60 odd fucking years, and dickheads like me go back and watch every single new iteration and enjoy it like stupid flesh sacks that we are. But the monsters in this show are the same. They revel in the putrid. For one thing, they all live in, get this, America. No, I'm joking. I'm sorry. Well, I'm not, but that's not my main point. They live and study underneath a dump in New York, and their favourite thing to eat is garbage, in truly disgusting, malforming, misshapen ways. The Pan's Labyrinth eye-hand meatball one sucks up the exhaust pipe of a car like it's spaghetti and makes me gag on my Panda Pop. Yeah, it was the mid-90s. Deal with it. They also have their own monster currency, which is toenails. I don't know if a big toenail here is worth more than a small toenail, even after lots of searching on that subject, which eventually led me to burning my laptop and getting a new one. Nails and hair are both one of these these things that when they're attached to the body, no problem at all. I can look at them all day, but remove them from the body and they become pretty fucking grim. I say that, I suppose it's the same for legs, genitals, lips. You know, Oblina actually does lose her lips in season 4, episode 2, by the way. I guess anything removed from the body is probably grosser than when it's attached, right? Except maybe umbilical cords. End of the day, they're just trying to make their way through monster schools so they can presumably go to Monsters Universe. Oh my God, is this whole show just the fucking prequel to Monsters Inc? I cannot believe I am the first person to discover that. I'm actually going to go post about that on Twitter. Oh no, there's a fucking million articles written about it already. Fuck me. What do you guys think? Did this show used to freak you out and give you nightmares as well? Or were you just as disturbed as the characters as much as you loved them? What were some of your favourite episodes and characters? What snack did you eat while watching this back in the day? Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe, and maybe hit that notification bell to be alerted every time we release a Nightmare Fuel for your viewing pleasure. But in the meantime, I have been Stuart from Unleash the Ghouls, and until next time, good night and good Nightmare Fuel dreams.